I was coming home from the store this morning and my dad called me, and I thought, okay, this is very strange. It is 7:30 in the morning. My dad is not usually calling me at 7:30 in the morning, so I immediately knew that something was wrong. So he's on the phone with me and he says, your mom has had a stroke, like a mini stroke, because let's rewind a minute. So during COVID, my dad got COVID pneumonia, and one day I was at the hospital with him. I gave my mom a chance to go home, and I was sitting with him and we were talking, we were having a discussion, and all of a sudden he just his face just kind of went confused, and he could not form words like he was trying to, and there was something that was going on. So I immediately called the nurse because I was like, this is very strange. So they take him down to the MRI or scan or whatever kind of thing that they did. I immediately called my mom and said, hey, I think dad just had a stroke. You need to come back. So we're both in the hospital room and we have no idea what's going on downstairs. They have not updated us at all. We don't know if he's died, so it was a very traumatic situation. But I can tell you one thing, the peace that passes all understanding is real, because both my mom and I felt it in that moment. When everything was uncertain, when we knew that we had zero control of that situation, is when the peace of God manifested itself, almost supernaturally, to the point where we could feel it. Okay, so my dad calls me this morning and he says, hey, I think your mom is having the same thing that I had in the hospital. So she gets on the phone with me and she's trying to formulate words. She's saying, I feel fine. Trying to read Bible this morning and couldn't read. So she's coming back out of it, but they're going to take her to the ER just to check. She doesn't want to go to the ER, but she's talking as if she's just now learning how to talk. You know what I'm saying? So there's clearly something going on. But as I was driving, when we come to the realization and we're able to live out of this place of realizing we have no control over anything that's going on in this world. When it comes to our bodies, at any point, there could be a blood clot passing through our blood vessels that stops our heart from beating, that stops our brain from getting oxygen. We don't have control over that. But as Christians who have put our faith in Jesus Christ, who knows that we are the handiwork of God, we know who does have control of that. And so we have two options in this world. We can either live with this false sense of control, and then as a result of that, when the actual realization comes that we don't have control, live in fear and panic and anxiety. Or we can live in the realization every second of every day that we do not have control of our bodies. We don't have control of what others do to us. We don't have control of any situation that we're living in on this earth. But we know who does, and when we surrender. So we can either surrender or we can live trying to hold on to this false sense of control. And that, I want to live in a place of surrender. I want to live every day knowing my children. I told them I was making a video. Hold on, I'm almost done. I want to live in that place of surrender, of freedom, because that is truly where we're free. We don't have to worry about what's going on in our bodies. We don't have to worry about, how my children are, going to be, if they're going to get in some kind of traumatic event, and it's going to be very traumatic. So for example, and at this point I'm rambling, but you're welcome to stay on if you want to hear me ramble. 3 days ago, I was taking Elijah to his cousin's house, and I pulled up in front of the house that they were going to do some yard work in. Elijah gets out of the car. I'm on a two-way street, right? So I'm pulled this way, stopped, and then there is a lane this way that cars are coming. He gets out of that side of the car, walks around the back of the car, and almost jolts it across the street. And I see this car coming. And thankfully, by the Lord's mercy and grace, It was not time for my son to go home, but it very well could have been. And as I was driving, like leaving him, seeing that almost happened, I was just praising God. But I have to come to the realization that if it was indeed Elijah's time to go home, to heaven, to his eternal home, that God would still be good. Okay? If God had decided to take my dad in the hospital that day, God would have still been good, because he's in control. And we know that Romans 8:28 promises us that all things work together for the good to them who love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. Okay, let's live in surrender today. Let's live in freedom. Let's realize on a second by second basis that in this life we do not have control. And that's okay, because we know who does. All right. Y'all have a fantastic day. I am going to go inside. I just picked up some milk and some orange juice, and we're going to get this day started. We might see y'all tomorrow. Who knows?